Oh, it is so beautiful outside. And it should be warming up a little bit today, and I am putting seedlings out, I hope. So excited. And then tomorrow I'll put more seedlings out, and I don't know if my pepper seedlings are up yet. I haven't even looked at the seedlings in the last couple days because I got a good water, so I just keep the heat pad on them and keep them next to the sun. So it's been kind of blustery and yucky, but I'm excited. Woohoo! Random start. My name is Red Moon Eagle, and you are watching Daily Devotions with Red Moon Eagle. And here we go. Okay, so self-care. Number 24, flow like water. I give thanks for the abundant waters of Mama Gaia. Water naturally carries intentions with it. As one of the 5 classical elements, it is incredibly valuable source for our physical and our energetic bodies. It holds the power to purify us physically, emotionally, and spiritually. The journal prompt is, what beliefs and patterns would you like to wash away with the help of water? So water has so many properties. It is so beautiful, so wonderful. One of the things about water that I encounter all the time is I drink all the water and I'm constantly dehydrated. There's a couple of things that could be happening. It could be a genuine like physical dysregulation. As a mold toxin coach, which I've done fair amount of coaching for mold toxin, there's some chemicals or hormones really, that are, I think they're hormones, that can be dysregulated and make it difficult for your body to put the water where it needs to. Yes, Astra, are you gonna join us today? Are you gonna sit down? Astra, sit down. Please. Thank you. Good girl. So there could be that. But the other thing what I tell people is to try this first. Drink your water, any of your liquid beverages, with intention. So when you hold your water, you start with, water is life. Step 1. Step 2 is, I bless this water with the elements of north, of earth. I charge this water with the elements of air, with east. I charge this water with the elements of fire, south. I charge this water with the element of water in the direction of the west. And I bless this water so that as it goes into my body, I take in nourishment. My body will take this water wherever it needs to. Because sometimes when you charge your water, if you think you send it to the intention of, I just don't want to be dehydrated, it's a little too vague. Honor the element of water itself. Honor what it does for you. You are 70% water by volume, but 99% water by molecule. It's in everything that is in you. And your fascia has water and this crystalline structure in it, and you have to have water for that to work right. So ask water to help you with that. I found occasionally, more than occasionally, but there seems to be a trend that people are drinking a lot of water, and either one, they're not drinking what they think they are, they're not actually drinking just plain old water, they're drinking a lot of other things, or 2, they're not telling their body, hey, use this for my body. So the next card is 36, Neffertum. His name means perfect without equal. He is the god of perfumes, who relieves suffering, and also the god of immortality. He represents as a young boy dressed in a simple skirt and a lotus flower on his head, a symbol of birth and regeneration. For this reason, he is the deity of sweet smells. He represents the complete fusion with the universe, the ultimate success, the completeness, the triumph of initiatives, the fullness of one's own energies. Follow the heavenly directions, and you will have the right reward in the right place in the higher spiritual hierarchy. Remember that the initiate is the one who carries the seed of light within him. I just love this card. Perfect without equal. God of perfumes, who relieves suffering, and the god of immortality. I love the way it says here, he represents the complete fusion with the universe, the ultimate success, completeness, triumph with initiatives, the fullness of one's own energies. Remember, the initiate is the one who carries the seed of light within him. We are all initiates. We all carry the light within us. When I talk about finding your place of peace, and I talk about it in the sense of there's a rightness, there's a completeness, there's a moment of fulfillment when you find that place of peace, and your body will resonate with that. My resonance of peace is right here. It's in the collar of power. It is this place right here. I can feel it, I can tap it, I go back there. This card represents that we all have a place of peace. We all have a place of bliss. We all have somewhere in our bodies that resonates with this fullness, this completion, this wholeness. Now, I call it a place of peace, and depending on kind of what I'm doing, sometimes that. We all have places in our body where it resonates. There's, in the Body of Nine paradigm, it's a place of activation. I've never found a modality that talks about it quite the same way. It is a modality of connection, and we all have a human body. So far, I haven't met anybody walking around in an alien body. And so far, that is a truth. Truth with a capital T, as my natural number 8 friend says. So Neffertum represents that we all have light within us. We all have purpose. We all have a reason that we're here. It's not random. And there is completeness. And our entity soul, depending on what you want to call it, is immortal. And it is exactly perfect, exactly the way it's supposed to be. It's only our society, it's only culture, it's only like this 3D world that seems to hold on to this idea that we're not enough, or we're not good enough, we're not good enough to love, or it's not perfect, or you're not perfect, or that you're not good enough for relationships, or that you're not consistent enough to be loved, or whatever it is. That is an illusion that comes through the shadow of the body. That is not something that is true about who you are in your soul, your entity, your true self. So we're going to go into Animal Spirit Guidebook, and the card that got pulled today was Hyena. These are just adorable creatures. I absolutely love hyenas. Humor, wit, sarcasm. The hyena personality is a jokester and a crowd pleaser, but below the surface they are unfulfilled dreams to be realized. When the hyena card appears, it's time to reflect on your reliance on sarcasm or humor to express your truth. Are you using jokes to hide old resentments in relationships, or to mask things that you feel uncomfortable discussing? What would happen if you took your goals seriously? When in balance, charming, witty, fun to be around. When out of balance, scrappy, petty, suspicious. To bring into balance, sobriety. I love that. So the hyena card, I have this beautiful person in my life, and he has a wicked sense of humor, my partner. He's just amazing. He has, anytime you get too serious or too sad or too much in any one direction other than joy, he will crack a joke. He will crack a pun. He is the master at the groaning puns, like the ones that you go, oh, really, you went there. And then you smile because you can't help it. You can't help but to grin at this awful sense of humor. And that is where hyena comes into play. When you get too serious, when you get too sad about something, it doesn't mean you're not real in the moment, but there's always somebody around who can bring the joy into that space. And what comes with that joy also comes the ability to see past whatever it is scary or serious or seemingly too serious to smile. And hyena helps you crack a smile, helps you listen to a joke, helps you find some joy. And hyena also helps you learn how to play with your purpose. Find the joy, find that amazing connection in what you do. I do a lot of shadow work with people. I've worked with shadow work for decades, and it seems to be the undercurrent of so much of my teaching is you know, when I work with somebody who's going so off into the left field of the metaphysicism that they can't figure out how to pay their bills, right? Or the person who is running from their shadow, like they're so busy being positive that they can't deal with the real emotions, the real grit and discomfort and trauma that they've experienced. Yes, yes. And in that, I try really hard to help them find, where's the joy in this experience? Where's the lesson? And lessons, it's very interesting. When I talk to people, sometimes they go, oh, it's a lesson, as though it's this awful thing, as though it's a scary thing or a heavy thing or a shadowy thing or something else, a monster under the bed, I don't know. Lessons are, I think a good analogy, a metaphor would be like finding a beautiful pebble on a beach, and you're walking along the beach and there's this beautiful blue pebble, and you go pick it up and you're like, oh my goodness, it's a glass marble. And you look at it and you look at the shapes and the forms in it, and it just brings you joy, and you put it in your pocket. And then you're walking along the beach and you see another pebble and you're like, oh, it's green. And you go over there and you pick it up, and it's this beautiful malachite that's been tumbled and moved around in the ocean and in the water over and over and over. And it's just polished smooth, and you see all the swirls. That is what Hyena brings. Hyena says the lessons you can have joy in them, and they look different. And instead of just looking at a beach full of pebbles that are gray and icky, look for the color, look for the light, look for the light within the shadow. There is nothing completely dark about shadow, unless you're afraid of it. And then, yeah, you can totally get swallowed by it, but that's your own perception. In what I think of as reality, shadow and light are just the flow. There's nothing scary about it. In our oracle, Shaman's Oracle, we have the journey. Number 29, the journey. The journey is an invitation to step outside the boundaries of your life as you know it. The journey is not a holiday. It's a call to be hermit-like and to go on a pilgrimage into the unknown. There are no maps to the territory you will be exploring, no marked paths and no road signs. The time to embark on the great journey is here. Do not linger in the port where distant shores are calling. Fearlessly draw your own navigation charts as you discover the route. When the time is right, as it is now, you will be led true, even when you're not sure where you're going. It is the departure that's important. If you miss the boat, a great opportunity will be lost, and another ship will not arrive for a little while. The medicine of this call is the journey is calling you, but the timing is movable. Collecting postcards or fantasies where you want to go may take over focus and make you miss your destiny. Other things must be completed first, or you may still be attached to knowing the destination. Remember that the point of the journey is not the destination. It's who you will become as you transform along the way. Do not confuse the inner and the outer journey. Love that. This card was exactly right today. I had a dream, and this dream was, for me, quite profound, because in the last 2 weeks, I myself have gone through having to lean into the knowing that it's not the destination, it's the journey, and accepting all the lessons that come my way. And there is a release, there is a surrender to the journey. And in the surrender to the journey, you have to let yourself experience all the myriad of emotion and what other people bring to you in that journey, and what you have already collected that you can share. Because it is about the journey. It is about sharing. It is about supporting. It is about being with others as you journey and letting them teach you. Let them share with you those lessons, those beautiful little marbles along the path. And when you start holding on to the destination, when you start holding on to something too tight, like, well, I know what I need to be doing. What's my master purpose? What is the purpose? What is my job? What is my whatever it is, right? And I work with a lot of healers. I work with a lot of healers that are out in the world, or people who want to be healers, or people who are seeking their purpose. What's my purpose, Red? And I do a lot of telling them, well, this is your gifts, and this is your life theme, and these are the things that are influencing you, and these are the things you don't have to put a lot of weight in because they have nothing to do with your journey. And encouraging them to live their life as though it's a journey. What are the wonderful lessons that are being brought to you as you journey in your life? If you're worried and caught up in purpose, you can miss the journey. You can miss the point of the journey. Excuse the train. You can miss the point. You can miss the beautiful pebbles on the beach. You totally miss the moments of connection. Being committed to your journey and the outcome will very easily sideline you over here into distraction, and getting stuck in a puddle with mud at the bottom will get you distracted by somebody else's stuff. And then you get caught up in their fear. The point of the journey, the point of your life, when people come to me and say, Red, what's my purpose? I do a lot of giving them, these are the tools, these are the things that are happening, this is why you're yearning for it. It doesn't mean you don't have a destination. It doesn't mean you don't have purpose. But if you're careful, you will hear that I very rarely tell people their purpose. I will give them a life theme. I will give them exactly what their guides share with me that they are ready to know at that time. Because your guides know you. You and your guides go way back. You have determined in your blueprint what that destination is. It's really, truly not my job to do anything other than validate, give you some tools, help you when you're struggling. I'm the healer's teacher for a reason. Because every healer already knows that they're here to have the destination, that there is a destination, there is a purpose. But they get caught not enjoying the journey, groaning when a lesson comes up, groaning when somebody talks about shadow, groaning when somebody says, well, there's work to do. Sometimes you have to understand that the journey is the part that you're doing to eventually reach whatever that destination is. Now, it makes it a little trickier when somebody has a life theme that is very purpose-driven, if that makes sense. Pathfinders, banner carriers, justice. There's a couple life themes that, wow, those life themes kind of are the purpose. And those are the people that it's so important that you learn to enjoy the journey. Learn and lean into the lessons. Lean into finding the pebbles. Lean into finding when people reflect back at you that that's part of the journey right now, that whatever it is they're reflecting, whatever it is they're offering to teach you is the thing that you're supposed to be enjoying in that moment or working on. And my last 2 weeks have been these amazing journey of discovery, getting more clarity about these beautiful pebbles I keep finding. I find that as somebody who's the healer's teacher, I will tell you that decades ago, one thing that I read, I don't remember where I read it, but it was something about a teacher's really not a teacher until they learn from their students. And for a long time, I wasn't really sure I knew what that meant. I thought I did. And the more that the teacher, for me, I have a teacher life theme also, similar to some of these others where that is kind of part of the path, like that's purpose path, right? And I found that I have to be humble. I really have to be humble. I have to accept that the experience is the journey and there is a lesson in it. And I don't have to figure it out all right away. Not only do I not need to figure it out all right away, I kind of am not supposed to. I'm supposed to be enjoying the pebbles on the beach. I'm supposed to be finding the joy, finding that place of bliss in that connection, or in that place, in that time, in whatever it is that's happening. And the last 2 weeks, I've had some amazing catalysty moments in that teacher space, in that life theme. That catalyst teacher is really hardcore the last couple weeks. And I'm finding that the journey card is so appropriate for so many of these experiences that I've been having, because as I am learning and as I'm sharing that learning, as I'm asking questions and I'm getting input and I'm letting other people, not only letting, but encouraging and supporting, it feels good to be able to encourage and to support and to lift up those that don't know they can shine, right? Like lift them up and say, here you go. Shine, please. I will stand right here with you. I will hold your hand. And I'm not standing in your way. I'm not in front of you. I'm not leading you. I am not leading from behind either. I am not a leader. I am a teacher. And teachers don't lead. Teachers show you what you already know, and they support you in that journey, because it is the journey. It's not about the destination. And when I find that I am teaching best is when I am learning, when I have opened the doors and I have said, teach me, show me, reflect back to me, give me what I give you in the mirrored reflection of what I need in my journey so that I can turn around and give it back. There's no one-way street. It's not a one-way street. It's not me standing and saying, I'm going to teach you the thing, right? I had a workshop this last Monday, and there were some things that I wasn't real keen on in the sense of like, in the touch it, feel it, taste it real world. There were some things that I think I could have done better, or I could have spoken sooner, or there were things, right? But the feedback I was getting afterwards was, thank you for teaching. And I realized that in that moment, yes, those little things were bothering me. That's me in my meat suit, right? And I accept that. That's my lesson. But the joy on the other side of that was, wow, what a wonderful discussion. Wow, what a wonderful platform. Wow, what a wonderful thing to start contemplating and thinking of. Because there's a recognition. It's a call that I haven't seen that many people on a call in a long time. So there's a need, there's a want, there's a desire. So the journey is the lesson for me. How do I do that in a way that they can contribute? And I set it up in a way that I was leaning into the transformational flow with Body of Nine. I was leaning into the knowledge that I've gained for the last 2 years, not quite 2 years, year and a half of Body of Nine deep dive. And I leaned into it, and people felt heard, people felt seen, people felt that they could contribute. There was time, there was pauses given so that people could think about it. There wasn't any rush until the end. There was a yearning for more. And it wasn't, this isn't me saying, oh, look at all the things I know. It was a beautiful space and moment in a journey that I learned because I let them, encourage them, gave them a safe space to share back. I gave them what I knew, which is incomplete. And they gave back to complete that picture. And it was beautiful. It was so beautiful. I tear up a little bit when I talk about it because that's what teaching is. That is what living in the journey is. Teaching is not, and I argued with this for years when I taught in classrooms, teaching is not standing up in front of a class and knowing all the things and pouring it out. And I've definitely done that occasionally because I've had to. That's the platform that culture sets up for us in our modern world. If you're a teacher, you stand up and you talk about all these things. It never feels good. It never feels authentic. It never feels good. It never feels as though I'm honoring other people's lived experiences in their world. And that doesn't feel good. And it didn't feel good when I was little. I can count on one hand the amount of teachers I had when I was in elementary, junior high, and high school that understood that learning is a cooperative action. It is not a leader or a teacher shoving at you what they know. That is not teaching. Teaching is cooperation. Teaching is, here's a thing, here, and it's kind of like when you teach somebody how to read and you're teaching them the letters, and I don't know if you've ever taught a little one how to write, and when a little one is learning how to write, a good early education teacher teaches them to draw, teaches them to scribble, use color, teaches them how to find the letters and the shapes. And there's joy in that. Teaches them the magic of how you put the letters together to make sounds like we talk. Teaches them how to correlate and build the synapses in their brain between the sounds we make and the shapes on the page to read. And there's a lot of different ways of learning to read because there's a lot of different ways of learning and how people learn. And so going back to the journey, Hyena, Neffertum, and the flow of water. All these cards for me today are very much a reinforcement of the blessings and the joy of learning from other people. And this is what I encourage you to look at for today's daily devotional is, who are the people in your life teaching you? What are they teaching you? And what are you teaching them? Everything is a lesson. Everything has purpose. I get asked that all the time. Are you sure things aren't random, Red? Nope, there is nothing random. The randomness seems random because the universe has brought you a new lesson, and there's a joy in that randomness. Except it's not random. Everything is a choice. Everything has purpose. Everything has meaning. Everything has meaning. Now, do we spend our entire lives caught in the tiny minutia of all the things that have meaning? I don't know. Some people probably do. I don't know. I look at that and I go, maybe there's a little bit of imbalance there, a little bit of mental illness because they're looking so hard outside of themselves without going within. You can't learn the lessons in life if you're always stuck inside yourself, or you think that you're the answers to everything, or if you're refusing to dance the shadow and light within yourself. You can't get anywhere. You're just going to go around and around and around in circles. The same things will happen in your life over and over and over again. And I say that because I've lived that. I totally, for being a teacher as a life theme, talk about a purpose, I've totally been in that place where I've made the similar mistake again. And I was somewhere in my teens or 20s and somebody pointed out, they're like, but Red, you don't make the same mistake. You always find another angle of making the mistake in a totally different way. And I went, oh, well, okay. And it helped me realize they were teaching me. They were teaching me that they are correct. I'm actually not going around and around in circles. It may feel like it, but in my life, I don't go around and around. I make a whole new mistake from a whole different angle. And it doesn't repeat. Not really, because I've learned. I accept the lesson. In everything I do, there's always a lesson. There's always a purpose. There's always a meaning. There's always movement within whatever is happening. And if I accept the movement and I accept the shadow in the movement as well as the light, I get the fullness of the lesson. Things don't repeat when I accept the fullness of the lesson. Things will repeat if I only get pieces of the lesson. And that's one thing I've learned is when the lessons come at me, I try to bite off as much of that lesson as possible, because I know that if I don't get what I need, it's gonna come back around. And not in a cycle, but in a woven circle 8 pattern. My blueprint, like your blueprint, is very much the journey of the infinite 8, whatever you want to call it, like the 8 or the infinity symbol or however you want to talk about it. And it's constantly moving up and down the spiral in our dimension and in the other dimensions. It's constantly moving. And I go big to come back small. This last 2 weeks, there were a lot of tiny little lessons. I delivered one. I've delivered several, actually, now that I think about it. But with every single one of those, I learned something. And some of those things are big, some of those things are small, and they're all important. They're important to my journey, and they're important to your journey. And we're doing it together. Community, if we go back to the medicine wheel, community is the ring around the elements, okay? In the medicine wheel, the outside circle is community, and the inside is body, mind, spirit, emotion. We are each a microcosm of that medicine wheel. We are body, mind, spirit, emotion. We are that entity. We are surrounded by those around us, the entities around us, the community. Astra is part of my medicine wheel. My partner is part of my medicine wheel. They are my community. The plants that I'm growing are part of my community. My house is part of my community. My son is part of my community. My yard is part of my community. My neighbor is now the next. We're moving outward. That is community. My friends that come over to tea, those are my community. The people I go out to dinner with, they're my community. I move out even a little further, and the groups that I belong to, my classmates, my community connections, the state, the group of people I live with within the state, their community, the nation, they are my community, the world, they are my community. The planets in my solar system, they are my community. We can get big, or it can stay small. And the tiny little connections we have with each other. Astra sitting in my lap every morning while I do daily devotionals. She teaches me. I really don't know what I teach Astra. I really don't. But she definitely teaches me. She's like, don't focus on me. I don't need that. I learn and I accept all day long, every day, that I'm learning, stretching. And daily devotionals is my way of sharing that back. Helping you know you're not alone. Learning isn't like school, where you sit in a desk and you learn a thing, and then you regurgitate it back to the teacher to prove that you know your thing. I've been that teacher. I know what that is. That's not how true learning works. Learning works by creating connection, by doing things together, by sharing ideas, discovering the new thing. And that shadow that's hiding in the closet, that big scary thing, that big project, that purpose that's driving you, I have to find my purpose. I have to be going towards a thing. So who around you is teaching you? Look to the man or woman next to you. Look to your brothers and your sisters. There's a poem I wrote. It's on my blog. It's under the call. I think I posted it last year. Go look at it. A call to action is a call to participate. In life themes, I don't think I have encountered a leader life theme in decades. Not real sure. That life theme is a life theme of sacrifice. And there's no leading involved except by sacrifice. So it's very much a life theme of leader is not necessarily what you think it is. It isn't fame. It isn't fortune. It isn't getting recognition. It isn't power. A leader life theme is of true sacrifice. And a leader life theme means you do nothing for yourself. You get nothing for yourself. Leader life themes are often very, very lonely and very burdensome with being leader. Trust me, you don't want a leader life theme. And people who think they want to lead, thinking that that's power and money and prestige and whatever they think it is, an ego-driven shadow dream, I guess. And it's not, that grass is not any greener on the other side. I promise. What you really want, to tell you what you want, that you don't want to hear me say, is you want connection. You want community. And in the Body of Nine paradigm, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 are your connectors. 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 are your not connectors. They don't need eye contact to connect. But I would argue consistently that the form of connection is what that describes. And what connection looks like is different than the ones who use their eyes to connect. But if you're in a meat suit in this human world, so far I have not met any aliens wandering around. So far everybody's got a meat suit of some kind. You need connection to grow, to feel fulfilled, to connect to your purpose, to belong. Belonging takes many forms. Belonging could just be in a space. It doesn't mean you need eye contact. It doesn't mean you need to be touched. But belonging is being in a space and being accepted for who you are and you are being allowed to have your voice and live your light shadow journey as authentically, with integrity, with acceptance, without fear, without shame, without judgment. That's belonging. Accepting all for who they are, exactly as they are. And the journey is the point. The destination isn't the point. The journey is the point. And as you journey, belonging is part of that journey. You don't get very far without lessons, without joy, without bliss, without connection within that belonging, whatever that looks like to you. Have a beautiful day, my friends. Have a lovely weekend, and I will see you in prayer. Blessed be.